Hi, I'm Carl Azus. Jumping right into CNN 10 today, we're taking you to the Middle East, where an ethnic group has reportedly voted for its independence, but may not be likely to get it. In the nation of Iraq, home to more than 39 million people, about 15 to 20% of the population is Kurdish. This is Iraq's largest ethnic minority. Kurds have been active in the fight against the ISIS terrorist group. They govern a region in northern Iraq called Kurdistan. And this week, they held a referendum, a vote on independence, which a Kurdish political leader said resulted in a yes. Kurds have sought their own country for decades, but several nations, from Iraq to the United States, opposed the Kurdish vote. Some countries are concerned that it could lead to more instability or even ethnic fighting in the region, and Iraq is concerned that it would lose a significant source of oil and a large chunk of territory if Kurdistan becomes independent.
Even as many here continue to ride the waves of post-referendum euphoria, leaders in the region and beyond are making their feelings increasingly clear. This is the referendum nobody wanted to happen, with both Turkey and the central government in Iraq threatening to turn off the tap on Kurdistan's oil exports, and the Syrian foreign minister saying that this is unacceptable. The hope had been for the Kurdish leadership that this referendum would give them a mandate to negotiate with Baghdad's central government. Iraq's Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi says not only is that not going to happen, but that his parliament has now given him the empowerment to have all options on the table, including the use of force to protect what they're calling Iraq's territorial integrity.
Updating you now on political events from Washington, D.C. A controversial attempt to repeal and replace a controversial health care law has fallen short, meaning that the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, will stay, at least for now. Republicans have been trying to repeal and replace this law since it was passed in 2010. And though the House of Representatives approved a plan to do that in May, repeal efforts in the Senate, where Republicans have a smaller majority than they do in the House, have not been successful. This week, a few Republican senators said they would not support their party's latest bill, the Graham-Cassidy bill, to repeal and replace Obamacare. And yesterday, Senate leaders announced they would not hold a vote. The political divide over health care was clear earlier this week in a debate hosted by CNN.
The truth of the matter is the Affordable Care Act has done some very important things. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. What the American people want is not their proposal. Poll came out today. 20% of the American people think your idea is a good idea. What the American people want is us to work together to build on and improve the Affordable Care Act.
This is a debate about who has the power. Is it you, the patient, or is it the federal government? The narrative on the other side is that you don't have the capability to care for yourself, that your governor is corrupt, scheming to take away your protections if you have a pre-existing condition. And they think the federal government taking control of your life is a better way to go.
So what does this mean? Analysts say they expect Republicans to continue trying to replace Obamacare in the months ahead. There's also a bipartisan health care plan being discussed in the Senate. Beach erosion, coastal flooding, and gusty winds are expected over the next day or so in North Carolina's Outer Banks as Hurricane Maria hovers nearby. From there, it's expected to move out to sea and into history. The storm killed dozens of people in the Caribbean before it made landfall in the U.S. Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. On that island, power is still out in most places. Phones aren't working. A dam in northwestern Puerto Rico is in danger of collapsing, threatening as many as 70,000 people who live nearby. The Trump administration has been criticized for not doing enough to help, but the government says its response has been anything but slow, and that planes and ships with supplies are either in Puerto Rico or headed that way. In some places, Hurricane Maria's damage is extreme.
I'd like to show you around what is left of what once was one of the most scenic neighborhoods in Aguas Buenas, the Good Waters, a town about 28,000 south of San Juan. First of all, the first thing you see as you drive up into the highlands, it looks like a bomb went off. This is lush tropical greenery. Imagine the flowers and the foliage. And it's like a lawnmower in the sky came down, and it's like that across the island. But this house is in a neighborhood perched right on a ridge. It's so beautiful up here. And this is Diana and her husband Miguel. Say hi. She's okay. She's okay. Her son Miguel. Here's the little dog Mika, hello. He's doing okay. So they survived, thankfully, but they're very worried because her husband, Miguel, who is a Vietnam War veteran, is bedridden inside, and he needs insulin. And so refrigeration is a matter of life and death, and the power is out for most of Puerto Rico. And here's why. Look at this. One of the main transmission towers that goes to San Juan crushed this home. Thankfully, the man who lives here evacuated before the storm. He's in a shelter, but only about 50 people in this town of 28,000 evacuated. Most rode it out, and so search and rescue teams aren't able to go check on everyone because the roads are impassable, as you can see right here. This is not something you fix with a bucket truck. This will take helicopters. This will take months. But as we follow the line across, imagine this scene is being replayed across Puerto Rico, and the need is so desperate. If this is any indication, Puerto Rico may rise again, but they're going to need a ton of help and a lot of time.
Eagles, hedgehogs, honey badgers, mongooses. There are a number of animals that have no fear of poisonous snakes. And one of the more awesome ones is the secretary bird. It's a native of Africa. It's about 4 feet tall and kind of funny looking. And it doesn't spear or drop or wrestle snakes. It kicks them. With a force that's 5 times its own body weight and quicker than the blink of an eye, a secretary bird can kick the daylights out of a cobra and then eat it for a snack. Now that's random. Okay, our next story is about a CNN hero. At one point, Callie Sweeney had dropped out of high school. He had no job, no education, and nowhere to live. But he was able to turn his life around, and since then, he's helped bring a sense of family to 267 students. He says his program has helped them all graduate high school, and he's taught them to keep their guard up.
My house is that one right there that's still standing. That's the house I came to when I was 6 weeks old. That's where my parents dropped me off at. I always wondered where was my real family at. So I found that family that I was looking for in the streets. I've been shot at multiple times. I had a guy, he shot 26 rounds at the car. It was a reason that he didn't hit me. It was for me to be here for these kids. If you spend enough time with kids, you'll find out that they're going through the same thing that I was going through. No mentors, no positive role models. You put them in a prime position to be ready for prison or the county morgue. Catch my jacket. I've been there, for real. So when they hear it from me, they like, okay, he's not sugarcoating it.
That was it! There you go!
It's actually an academic program as well.
Are we going for the title today? All right, cool. So what homework do you have today?
Books before boxing has always been basically the motto here.
Do you have your math ready? Okay, let's get started on it.
We hold our kids at the same standard with counterparts in the suburbs or anywhere around the world. The stuff that we're doing here is the stuff that should be given to everyone. When I first met Jordan, I didn't see the kid that everybody else saw. I don't see bad kids. I see a kid who haven't been heard yet. You good in the ring?
If I haven't found Kali, I think I'll be dead or in jail.
You doing like this, opening up too wide. Your timing is immaculate. You got him. Just keep working. Let's go.
He taught me how to be a man, basically.
There you go. That's all you got to do is just do it, Jordan. Just do it. What's good, man? You all right? Throughout my life, looking for that family. Ain't right. They have become my family.
In Colorado Springs, Colorado, a police van was recently making its way to the scene of an accident when this happened. And thankfully, it didn't cause an accident of its own. No one knows why a raccoon would decide to hitch a ride or why it would interfere with an officer in the process. It jumped off the van when the policeman pulled over. No one was hurt in the incident. The police department said the officer was positively surprised. He probably couldn't believe his eyes. Certainly the animal had seen a carnivore. Did he just jump on a police van by accident? I mean, why take such an arresting risk? Maybe it thought its mask would keep its snout of trouble. I'm Carl Azuz, and that's CNN 10.